Dr. Singer, I know you've been engaged in the study of cult-related issues, especially the psychological issues, and you've talked with the relatives of over thousands of cult members?
Thousands. I've talked with, I stopped counting when I got to 5,000 former cult members and their families. So that.
And you talked with
yeah. And I began talking with cult members who had left cults and their families back in the very early 1960s. And so that for 40 years, I've been working with people that have been captured by cults.
So according to your experience, what strikes you most when you are talking with them?
With the parents,
with the relatives, and
with relatives
ex-members
and ex-members of U.S. people who've gotten into cults. The parents are so shocked that someone has been able to take a son or a daughter away from them, get them so that they don't connect with them anymore, and they talk in jargon. That's the usual sort of thing. And the parents are bereft. They are saddened that their young man, and sometimes it's not young people, but sometimes people's husbands and wives get seduced and tricked into joining cults. And see, part of the work I've done all along is to try to show people here in the United States that cults don't go out and recruit openly. Most cult recruiting is very deceptive, in which you don't know when you join brand A cult that it's a cult. You think it's this new international living group.
Seemingly it's not that.
It doesn't seem like what it ends up being. So that for 40 years I've been pointing out that I've learned that the recruiting into cults tends to be deceptive. Once you get into the cult, they have developed more organized and I think destructive thought reform programs. So just a few years back I started getting calls, and to date I've been called by 75 mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters of people who have gotten into Falun Gong. And I have read all the literature I've been able to find of translations of Li Hongzhi stuff. And I haven't talked with anyone that's left the cult. But the parents, what they describe to me is, first of all, their shock that someone from a Chinese family would break away from hundreds and hundreds of years of family affiliation to go so against the grain of their cultural background. And then the second thing that these mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters have told me, only 3 of these 75 families said when I asked them, is your brother, your father, whoever, Chinese or Caucasian? Only 3 of them were Caucasians. 72 of the 75 were Chinese. And the brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers told me the first concern was that the son or daughter had just disappeared, didn't talk to them when they called on the phone, didn't come home to visit, and was really estranged and pushing them off, which was so against Chinese tradition. And from my readings and from what these people have told me, Li Hongzhi just took the little exercises, Tai Chi exercises and the breathing, and used those as sort of a front piece to lure people in. And then he takes them down the garden path, as we put it, to believing everything he tells them and that they cannot differ from it. And these